Hi, Leathur Rokk here. Welcome to my channel. I hope you're hungry, because I sure am. And what better thing to do when you're hungry than to cook, right? And it is dinner time, so I'm about to make pork fried rice. So come with me into my kitchen. And some of the things I have out here are actually more for show. I'm not going to cook with them tonight. But since the theme is pork, I want to show you something. This is not what I'm going to cook tonight, though, but I am, like I said, I'm making pork fried rice, and I am so hungry. If you hear funny sounds coming from my stomach, there is a possibility it will be my gurgling stomach. This, though, what I'm holding right now is a pork loin roast. It's boneless and it's frozen, and I'm going to put that back in the freezer. But I want to get this computer off my coffee maker because my tea is boiling very furiously and steam is coming off of it, and it's very next to the coffee maker and not good to have the computer on there. So let me put this back in the freezer. Oh, yes. Now I'm going to find a safe place to put this. I didn't do a whole lot of prep ahead of time, except I made the rice. My refrigerator right now is actually pretty well extremely full, so I actually put the rice on the stair landing, which is kind of almost a second refrigerator. At least in the wintertime, it gets really cold there, and that could be used for cold storage. But I went and made a whole, well, oh, what would you call this, 8 cups of rice ahead of time. And I'm going to show you what we're going to use for the pork. For the pork, now this will save some time. These are patties that are actually already cooked, and there's 4 of them, and they were frozen, and they're thawed out now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to chop these in small pieces. But I'm going to turn the light on now, which is not going to look as good for me, but at least it'll look better for the stove. And I'm going to put some oil in this. Now, the first thing, I'm not going to turn that on yet, but I'm going to do a few things in different order than I did the last time. But, well, the first thing I'm going to do before I do anything else is I'm going to wash my hands. So, let me do that. And then I'm going to, one time I screwed up by adding 2 eggs, and when I scrambled them and I added them to the rice mixture that I was already stir frying, the egg ended up getting too gummy and was not the consistency that I wanted. So what I'm going to do is the egg is going to be the first thing that I cook, and I'm going to scramble that nice and dry, and then I'm going to remove that from the wok, and I'm going to set that aside, and I'm going to cook everything else. That way it won't mix in with the rice and get gummy. And the last thing I want is things to get gummy, because as it is, your rice has a starch to it. And since I'm not starting from a cold refrigerated rice, there is going to be that starch element, and starch is going to just collect on the sides of the wok, and especially when you add other spices in, and we don't want that sticking. So, oh, I am hungry, hungry, hungry. Oh, and I wanted to show off something that I'm very proud of that I got in the mail today. I got a few more things, and yes, this is from wish.com. In the show notes, I'm going to include my special code that if you use it, even if you have ordered from Wish before, but it's been a year, it will get you $5 off your order. And yes, if you use it, I will get $5 too. So I do stand something to benefit from it. But Wish, this is a size extra small t-shirt, and I want you to look what it says. I am very, very, very happy with it. I had my choice of colors, and I decided on this bright blue because it was a very unusual color that would look good with the things I would stand to wear with it. And you can buy something like this on Wish. But the first thing I'm going to do right now is I'm going to scramble some eggs. I'm only going to use 2 of them. And I thought I had one out already. Tell me I hope I would set aside. No, that's the one. Okay. All right. I am going to check one at a time to make sure there's no blood. If anybody keeps kosher, and I'm not saying that I do, but I know some of the ways to do it, they always break one egg at a time to see if there's any blood, which would of course mean a fertilized egg, and that would break their prescription on blood and that being with the eggs and stuff. So I'm checking, and I could see that there is no blood on there. Now, one thing about crushing it like that, it makes it so that I'm not able to get all the membrane and everything out of the egg. And I usually use that to measure 2 egg equivalents of water in with my eggs when I scramble them. I've been doing that for years. When you add water to eggs, it makes them fluffier in a way that if you use milk, even though milk has more of a nutritional element, they're not as fluffy. And I like my eggs fluffy. I don't like them creamy. I sure as hell don't like them undercooked. That just turns me off in the biggest way. And plus, you're taking a foodborne illness risk also. Even though I love sushi and talk about risks, I know I'm taking a risk. But break my other egg here. And it's fine. And the thing is, I add water to them, but actually I find it's better to scramble them up first because that way the liquid doesn't take as much room in the bowl and you're less likely to splash it during the scrambling. That's just something that I've observed through the years of scrambling eggs. Oops. This is a set of bowls that I remember when there were 4 of these, and through the years they've broken one by one. We used to have clear glass bowls that could be used for either salad or for scrambling eggs or whatever, and there were 4 of them. And I believe we're down to 1 of that size. And there's one bigger size that I use to mix my hair bleach. And there's an even bigger size that's used for salads. Here, Wilbur Weezerak? Hi there. I was looking for a subject matter to go on live today because I've been making a few changes with the format of my channel. I've been wanting to be more and more my authentic self, and part of being authentic, as safe as it is to do so, is showcasing the things that I love, since this is my channel after all. And everybody has to eat to live, and I happen to love Chinese food. And I don't believe it's good to eat to excess, but I do believe that the food you eat should be good for you. Well, except for when it can't be, because it's chocolate and it's chips that I do love. But it should be food that you love. I believe that good food that you love is part of living a quality life. And I believe part of how you can honor yourself is to eat your favorite foods. So one of the things that I made a point to do in life is to, when I'm cooking, cook my very favorite foods if I can. I made it a point in life to learn how to make my favorite foods. And the great thing about the internet is it's so easy to get recipes for things. But before that, I was a big fan of cutting out recipes in magazines, even from the time I was a little girl. I used to take recipes and I used to tape them or glue them into the pages of other books and make my own recipe book. And I thought that was a clever thing. One thing that I hate about how some people scramble their eggs is when they don't scramble them enough and you can see bits of yolk in them. And I like to really beat them well. I don't like using whisk because to me, when you use a whisk, it's too easy to splatter raw egg all over the place. I think it's much more controlled by using a fork, though I do keep it out of my hair. But I know I could have tied up my hair, but I like the way my hair looks down. So I figure the only person that's going to be offended by any hairs of mine that might break off might be me, and I don't care. And actually, I think there's more of a chance of there being airborne cat hairs getting in the food. Now, I am coating this wok, and yes, I do use real woks. I use real chopsticks. One of the ingredients that I would normally include in this is in my freezer, and the freezer is quite jam-packed with meat right now. And I'm really afraid that if I start rooting around, things are going to start tumbling out, and I'm going to be like trying to stick my fingers in the dike and not being able to do it because there's more leaking holes than there are fingers, and I don't want a big problem, especially when I'm doing this live. There's no way for me to hide behind any fancy editing. So now these are onions here. I'm setting them aside. And the eggs, when that is done, I am going to stick that in this container here. Okay. So now I'm going to, you know what? I think I'm going to need to add a little bit more oil to that. Okay. And I don't want it quite that high. I like my eggs well done, but I don't like them charred. add a little bit more water to this. Lower the flame. One of the things I like to do when I am cooking onions, I like to save the onion skins. One of the things you can do if you do things with food besides just eat them, you can save your dry onion skins and you can burn them on your altars. And some people believe that encourages you to save money or not spend money, or maybe to find money, or maybe earn more money. That is just a metaphysical technique. It may come from the voodoo traditions, but it's something I do on occasion. Plus, it kind of smells good. If you have added water to the eggs when you do them, it's good to repeatedly stir fry them back and forth, because you'll find that some of the water does kind of come off and it kind of seems like you're steaming them. But that's okay, because as long as you keep the food moving, it won't char or anything. You know what, that container, I didn't need a container that big. Oh. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off. I'm trying to think of just how big a container those eggs need. I don't want to make this mistake of melting this plastic with the hot food. I've done that before. It's usually with liquids that I mess around with that. Like when I'm deglazing a pan, I take the liquid and I put it in a container to freeze. Especially if I'm working with bone broth or something. I do a lot of cooking with bones. I have bags of chicken bones, mostly chicken bones, in the freezer, and I want to make a big old pot of soup. I'm hoping this isn't too hot. Some people just push these up on a higher part of the wok and set it aside until later on in the cooking, but still when things fall down in, they can overcook. And really, one thing I noticed, as much as I like my eggs well done, when they're kind of charred, that totally ruins it. This is much better than adding the egg to it when the rice is already in. I could have saved time by doing the cutting the onions off camera ahead of time, but the whole idea of doing these things is to have something to look at. So if there are no visuals, what's the point of doing this? I think most people know how to cook. It's not like I'm presenting myself as some kind of professional chef or anything. I'm just doing something that's part of my life. Here, realizing that probably couldn't see anything. I want to make sure that there's nothing clinging to this wok. Oh, and I want to give you a family story too. This wok is older than me. This wok is very special in the family. My father was thinking of a Christmas gift for my mother, and he actually knocked on some man's shop in the middle of the night with money in his hand to buy a wok for my mother. So this is very special. It's the real thing. It's been seasoned. It is made of stainless steel. This is just amazing. If you treat a wok like this well by putting oil on it, heating it up, seasoning it, and you take good care of it, it will last a lifetime. So this is very, very special. When I finally get my bus, I'm going to have it. Now I'm going to take the skin off of this, and I hope that this doesn't make me cry. I didn't notice this when I was a kid, but now I am quite sensitive to onion. So I'm going to cut it in half to make the skin come off a lot easier. Of course, this is not smart. I would not advise doing this, really. That's not a good idea. But I'm trying to do this in a way that you can see this. Here. You know what? There's a little cutting board. I'm going to set the eggs there. This here. Okay. These are a little on the old side, so I hope nothing's rotten. But if it is, I just peel that part off. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do today until kind of the last minute. I started feeling hungry, and I already have one or two videos in the can that I could very easily have posted today, but I wanted something a little different. And yet I thought that something could be a good response to both the chocolate chip cookie video and also that video about my purchases I made at Walgreens. Apparently, buying junk food at Walgreens struck a chord with some people, that some old friends of mine, or people who were friends at one time, who seemed to take issue with my spending money on chocolate and potato chips. As if I'm not a grown woman and I can't make my own choices, and if I can't decide for myself that along with an otherwise healthy diet, I might not feel there's anything wrong in indulging myself with some tasty, fun foods that add pleasure and spice and joy to my life. I don't purport that everything I put in my body is the healthiest of things. But that said, life is for living, and life is for having joy in it. And if having fun snacks are an additional part of my life, big deal. So when I was taken to task for featuring candy and chips in a video, I thought that was really I was almost speechless. It would be like my looking at a random video on YouTube where somebody was talking about pizza that they bought. And I just don't happen to like cheese. I would never eat pizza unless it was pizza that didn't have cheese in it. So it would be as if I were propelled for some reason to go and make a comment on a video like that saying, oh, why are you buying cheese, blah, blah, blah. Why would I even comment on something if it's not directed toward me and it's not something about something I'm interested in? I would just either not watch the video in the first place, or I would not have anything to say any more than if I saw a video about people drinking their favorite cocktails. If I was to watch it, which I can't see watching anyway, and then make a comment about, oh, that's triggering and I don't understand why you're drinking that. And I shouldn't be watching it in the first place, and there's no reason to have an opinion if what I have to say is not helping the other person, especially if it's another content creator. The last thing I want to do is to give bad vibes to somebody else that's putting himself out there and making content about what I can only assume is something that's an interest of theirs. Now, some people, the only reason why they're being critical is because they're looking for an excuse to be negative, and that's just the easiest target for them. I'm sure that's the case with some of the negative comments I get, especially if they're from people that I know. Then obviously somebody is just in a grumpy mood because of their own life, or maybe because they're mad at me for some perceived slight. Like, I've had people who've been friends with me for a long time that all of a sudden they find me on Facebook and they discover that I make some posts of a politically incorrect nature, and they find my style to be a little less the typical warm kind of whatever it is you get from me in person. Apparently my online presence is a little bit more extreme to some people that aren't used to that side of me, or especially the people that have not been in touch with me 8-10 years and maybe don't know my political leanings. So when all of a sudden they see me on Facebook and I'm making comments about whatever it is I'm commenting about, if I don't sugarcoat things unless I'm making an extreme effort to tiptoe around things, and I really resent having the times when I have to do so. So anyway, ever since a certain person took offense at how I talk about things politically on Facebook and how I talk about my life and the descriptions I use for the things that bother me. Okay, I'm going to take this onion here, and I'm obviously going to add some oil to that. But you know what? I want more onion. So I'm going to grab that other small onion that is, okay, here. And it's not a very nice looking one. So you know what? I'm going to go back into I have a whole, these are what my onions look like. And as you can see, I got somebody here that wants to be a half a scallion. Isn't that cute? I wish you could smell that. And you know, one of the things I could do, I could cut this off here and I could plant it. But, oh, speaking of plants, I want to show you something pertaining to my garden. This was my flowering tomato plant. These were the flowering area. And as you can see, it is DEAD play taps. Here's another dead plant that I believe used to be a pepper plant, but is like 2 years old. So, but I'm going to rinse this off. I'm going to put this here. I'm going to cut this. Hey, Wilbur, there is somebody that I went to school with named Wilbur. Who is also, excuse me, is also in the drama guild. And I think may have gone on to be either an actor or a dancer on Broadway. Okay, I'm gonna rinse these off. And my mother doesn't get bothered by onions when she peels them, but then again, she wears glasses. So I believe that anybody wearing glasses, that'll protect you. Now I'm gonna cut these. I'm gonna put these on this cutting board. Okay, now I'm starting to feel like I squirted something in my eye. I love the smell of onion. So I'm growing lentils right now. And one either lemon or lime or orange tree. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Maybe after this is cooked or during the time when I don't have to attend to anything, I will show you and you guys can tell me if you recognize it. I know I could just take a picture of it and compare it to pictures online, and I can identify it. So, okay, this is more onion. So I'm going to add some oil to this. And here I'm just going to use plain old Medeiros brand 100% pure vegetable oil, whatever that means. And it says soybean oil, and this was from Save a Lot. And all right, fire that high. Okay. I really wish I could access my lemongrass because I love cooking with the real thing. Now I'm going to see what I can access here. Uh, okay, oyster sauce. Oh, I have some carrots, raw carrots, little. I wish you guys could smell this. I wonder if we're ever going to have that technology where you can smell things. Mmm. Oh, and now I think it's safe to say this. I didn't want to put this in the title because I didn't want to offend anybody. But last night around sunset was the first day of Ramadan. So it's Ramadan. So happy Ramadan. Let's have some pork fried rice. I need more oil. Nice thing about using a nice plastic stir like this, you can tell when the onions are cooked enough when they don't crunch anymore. When they totally break in half, you'll know that they're cooked enough. Oh, and you haven't used bottles like this for a while, they always say shake well. Well, it's really good idea to take a look inside first and you smell them and you make sure that there's no mold. If there's no mold, you're good to go. But this is oyster sauce. It's kind of like a really thick soy sauce that you usually dilute it 3 parts water to 1 part oyster sauce. That is usually how I use it. But another thing that I have fermented black beans. Now I'm going to turn this off. I don't want anything catching fire. And I'm going to take this off the heat and I'm going to get out the step stool. I'm going to get out this black beans. Uh-oh, I don't know what I just knocked over back there, but I hope it wasn't that important. Oh, I do know what I knocked over. It was something that I used to scrub potatoes with, but I'll be able to find it. Okay, fermented black beans. Back here. These things, if you've ever gotten fermented black beans before, they will live for years. Let me tell you about them. Fermented black beans. These are quite old. This, I bought them in, let me see, it says best before 5th of November, 2010. Okay, fermented black beans. I'll show you what they look like. They're kind of, but you think they're going to be hard like beans, and they're not. They're soft, kind of, but they're still a good idea to put them in liquid some. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some, and I'm going to put them in a little bit of liquid here. One of the things that I wish I had right now was some dehydrated shiitake mushrooms. They're really, really wonderful. And it's been a while since I've gone to an Asian market and done a serious shopping spree. Finances aren't the way they were 5 or 6 years ago. COVID really has messed things up, but prior to that, ever since they closed the Taj Mahal, things have not been really great here. So I can't go crazy with the spending. But that said, the Asian markets have special ingredients you really can't get anyplace else. And I know some people like to shop online for food, but I don't know. As much as I love shopping online, food is one item that I really like to touch and see. And I like to go looking for clearance racks and trying new foods that are in the day-old section for the breads and things. And you can get really experimental for a much lower price if you can do that. Shopping online, I don't think you can really do that. As far as soy sauce goes, I'm going to be using regular soy sauce. Well, a few different kinds I have here. But this is not soy sauce. This is actually by a company called Bragg. And this is called liquid aminos. And this is different than soy sauce. It's got kind of a smoky flavor to it also. It's amazing. You can use this in when you need a salty seasoning and you want something that's similar to soy sauce, and it seems like it has these things that are good for you, even though it still has sodium, so it's not a no sodium substitute. But, and this is something I've heard about for years, they advertised in certain health food related magazines and things, and I always assumed that it would be something that would be really, 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 really expensive. But I came into possession of a bottle of this about 6 months ago, and as you can see, I'm definitely using it. And I think it's just such an amazing, amazing thing to add. Now, as you can see, since I added the black beans to water, you can see here, I don't want to spill the water on my computer. You can see the color of the beans have definitely infused into the water. And what I'm going to do is here, I'm going to let them soften up in this, and then what I'm going to do is I am going to mix some oyster sauce with that. Oyster sauce and fermented black beans go really, really, really well. Belly button king, belly button king. Okay, you know, one of the great things about having my own channel is I can mix and match any kind of subjects I want to. And belly button king, I'm going to show you. I was lazy today. I was going to change into a different piercing, but this is what I have. This is what I described to you earlier today. Those people, there are some people that I talk to throughout the day, you know, because some people are just special. And, but this is made of purple titanium, but the ball on top that's also purple, this ball is actually bioplast. And bioplast is really interesting. Bioplast is a plasticky, rubbery kind of a medium that can be autoclave sterilized. And you can't normally do that with rubber and plastic and things like that. And some people prefer that because it's less reactive, and certainly with things like surgical standpoints, where if you have any metal in you, there's this minor chance of getting electrocuted if you have to go through surgery. If anybody ever has to have bones knitted together and they tell you you have to take all your body piercing jewelry, that is why. So anyway, bioplast is an alternative if you absolutely cannot take your piercing out, but there are pros and cons to that. Anyway, now that I have this in here, now I am going to take the pork patties. Well, first I'm going to put these off here. As you can see, I have 4 pork patties. Yeah, it was actually, as you can see, it's not too cold, so I was able to wear a short sleeve shirt for this. Now I'm going to take these 4 patties and I'm just going to unceremoniously dump them into the wok. And then what I'm going to do, since these are already cooked, and the fire isn't even on yet, I'm going to use this to cut each one of these. I'm going to see if you can see what I'm doing here. Okay. I am going to use this, and I'm going to cut these, and I should be able to cut them up. You see what I'm doing? I'm going to start off cutting them into strips, but then I'm going to cut them smaller. So, do you get the gist of what I'm doing here? Okay. Well, you can see what I'm doing? So, it really does save time when things are pre-cooked. But the thing is, sometimes they say pre-seasoned, and then it's tricky because they are so vague when they talk about things like spices. And what the heck does that even mean? And of course, what is problematic is when they find ways to add excess sodium. And you want to limit your sodium intake, especially if you're cooking with other people in mind, not just yourself. And myself, I love the taste of salt, but I don't want to use too much. And I want to I want to be able to feel that I don't have to limit how much soy sauce I use if I truly feel that I need that flavor. I was hoping I would get to do this around the time that some people might actually be having dinner. I end up eating at all hours. A lot of times I'm hungry when I'm filming and I don't eat until after I film. And if that's the case, then I could be eating really late. But if I'm live streaming my cooking, then I might get to eat in a civilized manner. Okay, now it is time for me to mix some of this oyster sauce with this water and these black beans that I have in here. And this, again, as long as there's no mold or anything on there, because this stuff is fermented and has preservatives and things in it, unless, of course, it says it doesn't have preservatives, it can last quite a long time. And I'm going to let you see the label. I like to cook with the real authentic ingredients that I find in the markets that sell the things, catering to the people who buy the stuff and make the stuff. And I'm treated very well where I go. And I think this is only right for me to make a statement. If in fact there is a growing trend toward anti-Asian violence, it goes without saying, that's absolutely disgusting and it needs to stop. And I can't understand why anybody would target a group of people. And what are people blaming people for, in those cultures for this virus? That's ridiculous. I cannot imagine that people are that stupid, and I would hate to think that that's it, that that's the reason. And there's no reason to be hateful, especially to people who haven't done anything wrong to you. So there's really no need. But so I guess you could say there's lots of reasons why I could be doing this video. How's about my channel? This is something that I love. I think the whole idea of having this platform is being able to show things that you love. Now I'm going to put the fire under this. I'm not going to add this to this yet until after I add some oil. I have chili oil also, but you don't want to add that till the very end because chili oil can actually be carcinogenic if heated. So you must be very, very, very careful. There's garlic here. Now here is parsley from the garden. Now that was probably not the smartest thing in the world. I just took the whole piece and I plopped it in there. But since it's in here, all I have to do is break it apart. Another thing I have is green bell peppers. Oh, whoops. Well, now that's going to have to boil off because I did not want a liquid that was not oil to get in there. Oops. Great thing about bell peppers, that's really easy to break apart. One thing there is going to be an issue with is the parsley is going to end up being kind of in a big clump, but it'll still flavor the whole thing. I want to get this really well heated through before I throw in the garlic, because the last thing I want is for the garlic to get overly cooked and burnt. And it's very easy for that to happen to garlic. I'm also not going to add the eggs to the last minute so they don't get charred. I want you to see what this looks like. Mmm. 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 This smells good. And as a reminder, the eggs are here. The rice is here. I think it's time to put the garlic in. I really wish I could throw in lemongrass, but I really am afraid of there being a problem. Yeah, I don't want any, I think these pork pieces can be taken up anymore, can be made smaller. So, hey, can we talk theology here? If there's anybody who really knows the Bible well, and I was having this idea, I'm coming from the metaphysical end, but I was wondering, say you inadvertently buy something that ends up being halal, and, you know, in order for it to be halal, a special Muslim prayer is sent over, and Allah Akbar is one of the things put on it. And far be it from me to be critical of any religion's prayer or anything, but the word Allah Akbar is also used when terrorists put our soldiers and our citizens to death. And so that's not necessarily a phrase that I find very comforting. So I was thinking, if you inadvertently buy something that's halal and you don't want to waste it, maybe there's something that you can find in the Bible that can be said to counteract it. So I was thinking maybe some of the Psalms. Okay, look at what I'm doing with this garlic. I'm throwing this in with, now, see if you can see what I just did here. Garlic is here. I gotta monitor this to see if I can start to smell the garlic. If you mix it in too soon before you've had a chance to get it fragrant, so you gotta let the garlic hit the pan. It turned down the fire a little bit. You get fresh carrots here. This may or may not be. See? Tiny little shavings. Anyway, I'm trying to think of what psalm you could say over halal food to make it so that it's okay to eat. Say you're cooking for Christians and Jews. Well, obviously, if you're cooking pork, it wouldn't be for an observant Jew. Even though I have Jewish friends that eat pork, not everybody is the same level of observance. But if there is a special Bible verse that you could say over halal food to make it safe to eat, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and take a couple of these, and I'm going to chop them up and hope that, you know what, that's kind of ridiculous because there's no way this is going to cook in time. But you know what I'm going to do here? I'm going to go ahead and I'll throw this in, and this is boiling now, and this should cook the carrots. That's what I'll do, and I'll add more water to this. So if you find yourself in a conundrum like I am, where you're wondering if you just screwed up, well, that's what you do. Now I add a little bit more water to this. I'm adding a little bit more oyster sauce. And I'm using a little spatula here. And I'm just mixing this up. Here, let you see what I'm doing. And you want to do this until it's mixed. So much of my cooking is like making a painting where I don't know really what the subject is going to be. There's paintings where you know what the subject is and you're methodical in your process, and there's other paintings where you just go where the paint tells you to go. So cooking sometimes is like that painting where you're just going with what the paints tell you they want to be. You can start out with a selection of colors, and maybe that's all you really know. Okay. I hope those carrots cook. Wash my hands. Mm. Oh, and Cassie just now noticed that there's food being cooked. Yeah, oh, there's got onions in this, onions and garlic. This is not going to be for kiddies. I'm sorry. No, I cook with really tasty foods that might be poisonous to certain people. You know what? It's time for a tea break. I am going to fill up this cup. I wish you guys could smell this. A lot of times the food smells good and it tastes good. It doesn't always look good. I am not a food stylist. I'm not a food photographer. But, smells quite good. Now, I really want these carrots soft. I know that vegetables are supposed to be better for you if they're not cooked as much, but eating shouldn't feel like a chore. Add more water. I think it's perfectly fine to keep on adding water until the vegetables soften up. See, I almost know if I could have done this over again, I would have gone and opened up a can of mixed vegetables. And that would save a whole lot of time. They'd already be nice and soft. The thing is, it's really easy to go overboard with the vegetables. And if you have too many vegetables, it sweetens things up. And I don't want to ruin the dish by having it too sweet. It shouldn't be sweet at all. It should be savory. And I wish I could get at my lemongrass. Oh, this smells good. Now, I want you to see what I'm about to do here. Okay. Oh. Now, this is not the biggest of rice cookers, so that looked like a lot of rice was put in there. Now, I actually got a small bag of long grain rice for this. Normally, the rice I've been using is broken rice because I got a good deal on a 25-pound bag of broken rice at the Asian market. And I use so much rice. I love rice. I could probably eat it most days of the week and I would be fine with that. You know, you see what I'm doing? I need to do that. It's important where you see there's big clumps of rice that need to be broken up. I want to do a really good job of incorporating, breaking up the rice before I add the eggs to it. But you know what? I'm really thirsty too, and you know, they say if you allow yourself to dehydrate, you can't really think too clearly. So let me put some sweetener in my tea. And I'm going to put some lime juice in it. I wonder if any of my local friends are watching me right now. I'm tempted to say, if you know me and you're in town, come over and have some food, because there's probably more than I can share with my mother. But that said, I'm really hungry. That's looking too white, huh? I gotta give it some color. First, I'm gonna dump the eggs in. I want you to see me do this. Okay. Okay. Now this is where I'm gonna turn the fire down a little bit, and then I'm gonna get some real soy sauce. I really prefer the flavor of a real soy sauce for a stir fry. And I've got different brands here. Actually, Kikkoman is not my favorite brand, and I'll tell you why. For years, I have honestly felt the Kikkoman brand soy sauce is too sweet. And I prefer a really savory flavor. Ooh, look what I have. Look what I have. You see what this is? This is ginger for sushi. Oh, yes. You absolutely want ginger in your fried rice. Yes. And it's already sliced in these fine little slivers. Normally, the preferred way that I like to use ginger, I like to use ground ginger. Ground ginger is really easy to work with. The only thing is, whenever you use ground spices in a stir fry, the powder tends to get really gummy once it hits the oil. And oil in the powder mixture can actually even burn sometimes. But powders can be mixed in with other powders, and powders can be mixed with non-oily liquids. And there's different things that you can do. And plus, when you have a powder, you are assured that everything gets incorporated into the dish. And also, when you're dealing with roots, like a ginger root is, they can be hairy, and a lot of times they get peeled first. And there's this prep time that people might not want to deal with. Okay, you can tell that I've never opened one of these live on camera before. I'm going to guess that a full packet of this will be fine for a whole thing of fried rice. If I can avoid wearing too much of it in my hair. So, hey. My hair will smell like a combination of ginger and the sea. I'm going to take a tiny little piece of this. I want you to see what this ginger looks like. Hey, Jeff, how you doing? I haven't seen you in a while. Let's see what this looks like. I aim to make everybody hungry. And if you were in town, I would share. Assuming you even like this. I mean, I would never expect anybody to eat food that they didn't love. I wouldn't expect to enjoy you guys' pizza party, but I love Asian food so much. It makes me very, 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 very happy. What am I looking for? Oh, yes. I'm looking for a soy sauce that's not kikkoman. I also have wasabi here if I want to go that route, but what I'll do for the chili is I'll use one of these packets. Yeah. Usually when I have fried rice, I have combination fried rice. I have everything put in it, or combination seafood, everything. Okay, I'm going to find more soy sauce. Oh, want to see something really awesome? This is a packet of soy sauce from, or rather of hot sauce from a Chinese restaurant I was at, and I think the art is so cool. And of course, you need reading glasses to read the letters on it. I sure can't see. Okay. I thought there was soy sauces in this house. I hope I wasn't mooning anybody. This is live and I can't see behind me. So, hey Mom, where are the other soy sauces? The other soy sauces. Besides kikkoman. Oh, okay, drawer. Okay, thanks. Okay, and this is the sesame oil. It must be finished off with. You know what? Here, I'm going to turn the fire off. I can't find other stuff, so I'm just going to go ahead and use the damn cucumber. Because I don't want anything burning. I just love the smell of sesame oil. And my favorite dipping sauce for spring rolls or anything is always going to be soy sauce with a little bit of sesame oil in it, and maybe some sliced scallions and cracked pepper in it. Oh, there is this chili oil that one of the casinos makes here that is so kick-ass. It's oil with the chili flakes on it, and it has garlic in it, and it has salt in it. I mean, you have to have salt for flavor. You need salt. And anyway, they serve it as a dipping sauce that they make pretzel bread. And it is just so amazing. I even may have taken a little bit home. Okay. You're not supposed to do that, you know. So there's another reason why I'm doing this cooking content. It's not that I'm turning into a cooking channel or anything. That's not my plan. But I'm changing some of the kind of content that I'm making, and some of the content that I was trying to make, it was really hard for me to film, especially places, one of the public places I was going to, and I was having problems with security and things. And anybody who knows me knows that I take my work very seriously, and I consider my YouTube channel to be work. But not work in a boring, drudgery way, but work in that it's something that I love and something that has my name on it and I take seriously. And there are certain commitments that I have made to this channel. One of them being Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturdays, I expect to have some kind of content for people. And, well, good, hey, if I'm twisting your arm, because I haven't eaten since lunch, and I actually, what did I have? I've been eating a lot of biscuits lately. We got some decent biscuits on Saturday. And of course, I bake biscuits myself, and my mother bakes biscuits and stuff. But anyway, because there's certain kind of content that I really don't want to make anymore because it's just not worth it. And plus, I don't want to be really making much more Atlantic City content. I don't want to be pigeonholed as an Atlantic City YouTuber. I mean, there's people I know who are locals here who are doing that with different social media. And all these people, they are developing reciprocal arrangements with businesses and things. And they're getting paid to promote either events or restaurants or different things. I do not have any relationships with any local anybody. I have never gotten paid to showcase things. I've never gotten paid to promote things. I don't get any ideas from other people on, hey, why don't you make a video about this? Why don't you make a video about that? I have occasionally asked my audience for ideas, but for the most part, everything comes from here. So nobody is saying, hey, I'll give you some money, or I'll give you some weed, or I'll give you some free XYZ if you film about this. I'm not doing anything like that. And if I did have some kind of an arrangement like that, by law, I would have to disclose it. I believe it's a Federal Trade Commission rule. So, and that's why whenever people offer discount codes and things, they have to say something in the show notes that they stand to benefit somewhat, and as well as you're helping. And anyway, as long as you're upfront with that, you're okay. But so nobody is scratching my back, for instance. So why am I, and plus I don't want to give a wrong impression. I don't want to give the impression that I think certain things like gambling. I really don't think gambling is a cool thing to do. I know how hard it is to come up with the money that some people gamble with, and I know the harm it's caused some family members, okay? And I have homeless friends who gamble, and to the point where they get offered free rooms and stuff. And I've seen people, veterans, gamble thousands of dollars a month and they don't even have homes. And so I've seen the dark side of things. And so to be, I film things here because I happen to be here, but there's things that are so important to me that I want to showcase. And also there's footage that you guys have not seen yet. So many things that I filmed when I was in Washington, D.C. And I'm about to go, since I have the flash drives and the hard drives that data is on, I'm about to edit that stuff up and show it. And the thing is, I don't want to confuse people thinking that I'm in Washington, especially considering that the Washington, D.C. footage I'm going to show, nobody's wearing face masks because it was prior to the pandemic. And many of the things that I'm showing, obviously it's before Black Lives Matters and Antifa damage things. So I'm going to be showing businesses that are still there, buildings that are still there, that don't have graffiti on statues that are still there. And it's important that this stuff sees the light of day. So I think it's time that I show this Washington, D.C. stuff. And there's some traveling that I want to start to do. I'm trying to get this vaccine. I'm actively trying to. I'm registered with the state system. And there's some other things that I tried to sign up to get accounts for. And the thing is that they're arguing with me on things like a username. My username doesn't match. And it's like, first of all, you didn't tell me that I needed, why would my username be anything other than my name? And anyway, and then the number that I thought was associated with it was not associated with it. And then normally they take down your phone number first of all, but they never did. And they said that they were going to check to see if I was even in their system. And they never, the phone call got disconnected and they never called me back. And I was getting really frustrated because I don't need to be convinced that it's really important to get this vaccine. I want to get it. I want to protect myself and the people around me. I want to be able to resume my life again. I want to go back to traveling. I have friends I want to see. I want to be able to go back to being able to go to nightclubs and things. And they're starting to open up clubs. There are bands, matter of fact, there are bands that I would like to see that are going to be playing locally. But unfortunately, somebody I live with is the doorman, and there, any place, like any bands that want me to see them, if you play a Blu-ray and a certain promoter doing the bands, I'm not going to be able to get in, especially if your intention is for me to get in free. If there's a cover charge, the doorman is going to make me pay, and I would rather spend that cover charge and buy a bunch of things online. I have lights that I need for this channel, things I want to get for the set that I'm going to be buying. I think I need an on-air light. I think I need a floodlight so that when I do my turnaround, you can see my hair. I also need some soundproofing. And the thing is, I would like soundproofing that is not flammable. And I don't want to do a permanent installation. I don't want to do the kind of installation where I have to use staple gun. I want to just use unroll it, cover my windows. I want soundproofing that will blot out sounds from outside. I have so many, I live in a very urban environment. I think you guys already know that. I also want to deal with something that will prevent sounds, not only from outside, from like blaring car stereos, but also if there's music from the downstairs. So that I can live stream at any time, including maybe if somebody's having a noisy church service or something. I need to be able to live stream and not have to worry about copyright things. So I'm thinking of getting some foam soundproofing stuff and have that on my wall where my windows are, and maybe wrap it around some. I don't want it facing, covering the back wall where my white it's okay. I'm just reading this. It's okay to be 80s. And it's okay if you are 80. And I don't want to discriminate. Just don't try to set me up with any 80-year-olds, please. Which I have a well-intentioned friend who doesn't seem to have gotten the memo. And with all the single people this person must know, But the only people that he tried to set me up with are grandfatherly, to put it politely. And I'm not looking for somebody that I'm going to have to be their nurse. You know, I'm already taking care of my mother, okay? They were supposed to put an additional stent in her heart a couple days ago. She went in the hospital. A couple hours later, she was back. I thought there was a chance she might be home, you know. But anyway, the important thing is that she seems to be okay, but still. And the good thing is they didn't find any coronary blockage. But apparently, you can have blockages any part, and they have to look for a specific thing. They don't have one test that could tell you that there's a blockage wherever it is. You have to test specific places instead of just having one test to let you know. So unless that test exists, it just costs an awful lot of money. So, okay, this is what this looks like right now. I am going to grab some chopsticks, and I am going to, oh, that's right. I was told that the chopsticks are someplace else. I have a bag of chopsticks. I'm feeling really sweaty. Okay, this needs more soy sauce. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish this off with the sesame oil when I actually plate some up for myself. You know, one thing it's taking away from my enjoyment of food is I have bone fragments that are coming through and are going through my roof of my mouth and are poking on the other side. And whenever I eat anything hard, it hits up against it. And anyway, it's poking my side of my tongue, and there's a little bit of pain there. And it just takes away from some of the joy of eating. And I know it's probably not why you're tuning into my videos to hear me bitch and bitch and moan about life, but guess what? My channel, if I want to bitch, I'll bitch. Right? Right. Oh, wanna see my Cassie? Oh, look, I got Cassie. Oh, no, forget about that. Oh, no, she noticed the food. She likes to knock everything over. That's my little girl. Oh, so pretty. She's so pretty. Look at this face. Look at this face. She's so pretty. Now I got Gungy Bungies. Oh, yeah. You know what? I should put some of this stuff away. And nobody's seen Tabby today. Oh, no, don't even think about it. Oh. Yeah, she's going to help herself to the eggs. Oh. Somebody was fishing. All right. One of the things I think I better do, I'm down to 20% of my battery life here, so I have to plug this in. So let me plug this in. Oh, yeah, Yes, Cassie, she's beautiful, but she's tedious, and she's deaf. And I had her almost 2 years before I realized that she was deaf. Oh, but there's somebody else here to show you. Oh, look who I got. Oh, my goodness. Oh, I got. Look at that. 2 tons of fun here. This is my tabby boy. Oh, yeah. And tabby boy was sleeping. And he was perfectly happy sleeping. And I just picked him up and, because this is my cat. I love my cat so much. This is my tabby boy. Mwah. Okay, I'm going to put you back in your window. Okay. Now, there's one other thing. I'm going to light this candle. I think you know what's up next. Okay, you want to see a bad girl? I keep on telling people that she's a bad cat. People don't listen to me. Do you see what I mean? Oh! Oh, she's running. Okay, Cassie. Cassie. Oh, I want you to see what she does. Cassie tries to pry the water jug off of there. You know what? Here. I'm going to put this. Let me see if I can get this where you can see. Okay, you can see her? All right. Okay. I got my cord here. Now, back to what I said I was going to do. I got to light a candle. Yes, that's what I got to do. Okay. Got my candle. Oh, this is that thing that I found up the street a couple of weeks ago. It can be used as a pedestal for anything. The only thing is it's a little bit wobbly because it's only connected by nails on the bottom. But I saw it and it appealed to me. I figured it would be something that I could use to attach things to or whatever. There's things I want to get, like a tripod and just different lighting equipment and things. I ordered a ring light that's supposed to be small enough and is supposed to attach by USB to a laptop computer. And it's really, 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 really small. And they had an option to get one that had that you could program different colors, or the one that's just white. And I figured, well, the white one would be more practical. I certainly don't want to project different colors on my hair, my face, or anything. and white, what I think bring out my purple the best. I was thinking of getting one of those on-air neon signs, and I'm thinking red would be best because on-air red would look good, and plus red would go with red, white, and blue when I want that. But I was thinking I should also have a purple light, since if I have any color that's my main color, I think would be purple, so that I can always have something purple on my set. But now I'm thinking, I don't think neon lasts very long. Whenever you see neon signs that are even on big expensive places, invariably one of the letters, the light will go out, and then you have to take them to be fixed, and it's really expensive because it involves craftsmen and stuff. And the thing is, if I'm going to be spending, what's not going to be too much for a sign anyway, I think it would probably cost more to fix it than it would to pay for the whole thing. So I'm just wondering if that would be worth it. But people use decorative lighting all the time, and I want things to look like a really cool studio set. And now this is going to be where I would put the soundproofing. I would want to have it covering here, the window area that I have, because that is where most of the sound comes from. Sound mostly comes from the street, and sometimes occasionally will come from the neighbors from the other side, but there's a firewall there. But on the street, sometimes on the corner, there'll be god awful, plus some of the businesses, people parking. John Graham, hi, how you doing? Welcome to my channel. And my beautiful tabby boy here. Oh, my beautiful cat. Oh, yes. I gotta show my cats. There's people that they just watch my videos because they want to see my cats. Oh. Now, speaking of LED lights, there's this company called Harbor Freight that they're known for their tools. They seems to have these really bright lights that are small, and you're composed of like a whole bunch of LED lights on an array, and you can have them. I want to have something that could mount on the wall behind this computer and blast light over to here, so that when I do my turnaround, the light hits my face. I did have a floor lamp that finally bit the big one a couple years ago, and yeah, that's the thing, is I really want another thing that I would like to do, but I don't think I could do it from the ceiling, is that I would like to do a lighter weight version of triangular trusses that I can mount lights onto, so that it could look pretty much like a light array for a stage. But the thing is, what I have for my ceiling is acoustical stuff that obviously you can't have anything heavy hanging from something unless it's a stud or whatever. And I can hear the mice running up and down there that I don't want them falling through. So I don't want to have anything heavyweight. I don't want to do any structural changes to this place because obviously I'm renting. And I don't want to do anything that's fire danger. I can't say I totally trust our lighting, or rather our electric, all that much. But I don't want to deal with battery operated things because that's a big hassle. That's an expense I don't want to deal with. And also, I don't want to have things that have to be plugged into USB all the time, because if the cord's not long enough, it might not reach. I was thinking for the back wall behind my bed, I wouldn't mind maybe having Christmas lights again and doing something back there, but I can't have something that's mounted back there that's shining this way, because I've seen the glow and distortion when you have light shining right in your face. So, but you know what? Let me go and bring the food in here so that I can put the chili oil sesame oil. I'm going to do something. Oh, really? So do you think I should just check at Harbor Freight, or do you think that I should look at the musicians' catalogs like, there's Musician's Friend and there's Sweetwater and different things. But I would imagine that they would charge a lot for their lights. And I really, really, really need to keep hey, Abraham, how you doing? Rock wool, now doesn't that have asbestos in it? Isn't that carcinogenic or something? Oh, this smells so good. And I always save these little loops. They're a really good way to end your braids and your beads with your rubber band, and they're nice and big, and your big beads won't slip out. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to pour a little bit on. I'm going to mix my food with. I'm so glad that I see you today. Oh, this is an interesting thing I got in the mail from a company called Roman and Littlefield. It's music books for the professional. It's a catalog of, and I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, but it's all kinds of. And when I saw this, Abraham, I thought of you, and I thought of that book that you have on Amazon about music theory. Matter of fact, if you can put a link to it in this, in case people that are in the chat room might find it of interest, I think that is a very important book that you have, and I think that might even somehow get you successfully to come to America, which is obviously what I dearly, dearly, dearly hope you get to do. You know, if there's one good thing of President Biden being our president. Yes, it's ready. Okay, I'm gonna bring this into here for a second just so that I can. Oh, wait a minute. How can I serve myself if I don't have the plate in here? I'm hungry enough so that it's clouding my judgment, and I didn't even fill my bowl yet. Okay. Okay. You can see. I want you to look at it. And don't get attitude on my phone right now. Be nice. What do you think? Quite lovely. Do you want me to fill your plate? I'm going to fill my mother's plate. It'd be real nice if she make it appear as what? Dress. Ah. No, you're not getting. No, you're getting down there. Because otherwise, you don't need to be. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me. You already put it in your room? Please? Don't give me chance. My mother, she thinks she's Sean Ham. Hey, Chelsea. You need, soy sauce. Yes. Restaurant. Wait. There's one more thing. What? Stir it up real quick. Put some of this on. Okay. This is what this looks like. Okay. I've got to cover this with something so the cats can't get on it. And I think that'll have to. I'm going to bring this back in. I'm going to bring the computer back in. Okay. And there's more mess, of course, that I need to clean up here, but you know what? I'm not going to do it now. I'll do it afterwards. I'm going to close my door because I'm expecting somebody to be coming in from bowling shortly, and that person always slams the door real hard and stuff. Biden, DMEGED Oh, Biden damaged USD. Yes. Oh, well, but didn't I say something about smoke inhalation? Yes. Okay. Got my candle. Got my ashtray. Oh, and Tabby Boy smells my food. Oh, no. Got my coffee ground. It's not coffee. Alright. I gotta find my bowl. 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 Oh, I don't know. Ready? Oh! Found it. Tell you what, I'm not going to actually do the deed on camera because I don't want to get in trouble. I think what I'm going to do with certain, like last month, I was told about some other places that I can do live streams, that I could totally do the weed thing and not have to worry about getting in trouble. By trouble, I mean getting, one of the things that YouTube likes to do is it likes to age restrict videos that talk about weed. And then what happens is then YouTube will not put ads on your channel, or not on your channel itself, but on the particular video. And YouTube seems to have a knack of finding videos of mine that have tens of thousands of views already, the ones that would in theory make me money. And of course I still have to have at least 1,000 subscribers in order to get eligible to be monetized. But still, if YouTube age restricts a video, that means you can never have ads put on there. And if they decide to age restrict the videos that are doing well, then that's hitting me in the pocketbook. Tabby boy, where are you going? Where are you going? I want to know where you're going. I have to turn my back so that I don't offend people. This is the kind of rice that I have right now, is the broken rice that I have. But that's not the rice that I cooked today. The rice I cooked today is just some long grain rice that was actually grown here in the United States in Louisiana. It's really interesting that we can grow rice here in America, even though my favorite rices are grown in Pakistan and Thailand, different places. This is from Thailand. I love to save my rice bags. They are so handy. I like to bring them when I'm packing to go away for a weekend or a week or something. I like to take an extra one of these bags and I like to roll it up and I like to put it in with my luggage. They hold so much. This pillowcase here, I like to travel with this and bring it empty, and I can fill this with things like socks and underwear things. Now, this is something else that I got from Wish. I am not complaining about the quality of the items. People that seem to have a problem with Wish, I don't understand what your complaint is. I'm happy with my purchases. I really am. If I'm about to buy a ring and it says 18 karat gold in diamonds and the price is 69 cents plus $1 for shipping, I'm not expecting 18 karat gold in diamonds, okay? But I'm happy with the things that I have gotten. I am seriously very happy. I want to look for something to show you. I got something from Wish today. I want to save more of these things because I want to show you another Wish haul video. Look what I got in the mail today. I just saw the picture of this and I thought it was beautiful. I thought it was an unusual color. This is supposed to be rose gold. And look at this color. I got the small size because the smallest size was the cheapest size. And I figured if I could even wear my pinky, whatever. Well, it totally fits this ring finger. It's an unusual color. It cost me a pittance. And it's beautiful. And the reason why I've been buying all these cheap rings and stuff, for about 4 years, I quit wearing rings completely. I thought I couldn't wear them anymore because arthritis had made half my fingers, the knuckles got kind of bigger, and I couldn't wear rings in the sizes that I could before. And it kind of sucked the joy out of being able to wear jewelry since my hands kind of hurt and my rings didn't look good on my hands. So I stopped wearing rings completely for a while. And then all of a sudden I'm thinking, why am I depriving myself? Just because my body has changed a little bit And it's funny, some of the fingers are different sizes, but some of the other fingers haven't changed at all. So it's not like I really can't wear rings anymore. I just have to wear them differently. And since these are not, most of these are not made of any kind of real metals, these are not the kind of rings that I'm going to wear, stick on my finger and wear it for weeks and weeks and weeks at a time. And especially now with COVID-19, where you're washing your hands all the time. And if these do have finishes that are going to wear off, they're not for wearing all the time. But for going out, for wearing with different outfits, for wearing where you have different colored metals and you want to wear the same matching metal, why not? And I would rather have a whole bunch of cheap things so that I have options rather than invest in a few good expensive things that you're wearing all the time that you get sick of because you're wearing all the time. And then you have to worry about what if you get mugged or you lose it, then you're out. Whereas if I drop this or somebody steals it, it's cost me $1.89 or something. But to me, this looks every bit as nice as something that I see in a fashion magazine for thousands of dollars. You know, the eye can't tell the difference between cut glass and a cubic zirconia and a natural diamond and a lab-grown diamond. And a lot of jewelers can't tell the difference between lab-grown diamonds and natural diamonds. So really, if you can be happy for less than $2 for what costs another person thousands of dollars, why spend the money? So anyway, that's what came in the mail today. I think I want some more because I'm smelling my food and it really is saying it's time for me to be eating you. But then again, a new social media platform coming based on blockchain, and it gives mithril coins for views to people who make data and share. It is social media as an app for smart Android, iOS. Again, smartphones, not helping people that don't use them. I have something called a MetaMask. It's a cryptocurrency wallet or something, so that I can get something. I think it has something to do with. I am on a social network called Minds, even though I haven't been on it for months because it's a total ghost land, and I hate it when of course, these anti-computer things. I swear. And I want to get on whatever the social network that Donald Trump is going to be working on having, because obviously people that are on the right need to be on platforms that where we have the freedom and we don't have to deal with the censorship of big tech and stuff. But hopefully it'll not be something that requires two-step authentication that needs a text message. You know, I have that cell phone, but it's not attached to a data plan or anything. What I'm looking for is my charcoal. I was thinking of lighting some charcoal and burning some frankincense or some copal or some myrrh. If any of you are into resin incenses, maybe I have some witches watching. And if there are any witches watching, do you know what copal is? Copal looks a lot like frankincense. It's a gold or amber colored resin. And it actually comes in a hard brain looking, walnut looking thing. Copal is beloved by Mexican people and people who do Mexican magic. And the reason why I'm bringing that up is that actually the copal I got, most of it I got in downtown Los Angeles when I went to the Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos celebration, which is every November 1st and 2nd. And anyway, the last time I was in Los Angeles was 2006, and I went for my birthday, among other things, because I was there for like 4 months. And so I went to the Day of the Dead thing, and that was really beautiful. Uh, I like to look at windows on other cultures and stuff, and seeing the reverence for their ancestors is really nice. But anyway, this copal looks just like frankincense, and I've been told it also looks like yellow crack rocks. And matter of fact, you can mess with crackheads by dropping that on the ground near where they are and stuff. But actually, I think this stuff is probably more valuable. I don't know, like frankincense. I heard that there's actually a limited supply of it because people are endangering the areas where it's grown, because these are resins. They're sapped from trees, specific trees, and you collect them, and they can only be grown in certain parts of the world. So, but I got, whenever I found myself in a shop that sold uh, resins, herbs, natural incense things, I always got some. So I have all these packets of different kinds of frankincense and myrrh and copal. I got a nice amount of it. This thing says 5.80, $5.80 worth. I put it in a jar. So, and then I put other things of it. But the thing is, some of this I believe might be frankincense too, but no, I wouldn't mix things together. This is frankincense here. See this green thing here, and it says money? This actually is just dyed frankincense. But this was when frankincense and myrrh, I believe, was a lot cheaper. But I use this both. I burn it on charcoal, and I both use it as an air fragrance, and I also use it, excuse me, in incense recipes for different purposes. And there are books of recipes that you can look up, find recipes to attract different energies, or even just recipes of really great smelling incenses. And this is a book, and it is called The Magical Formulary Spellbook, Book 1, edited by Herman Slater. He died before I got to meet him, but I went to the store that he used to work out of. That is no longer a brick and mortar store. It is a store called The Magical Child, and it was in New York City. And but anyway, this is a very, very, very special book that has a whole lot of recipes in it. And I don't mean recipes for food. A few of these things are edible, but most of them aren't. But anyway, very useful book, and it has recipes for some really wonderful smelling things that I can throw on charcoal, or that I can crush and soak in oils and anoint on candles and different things. So, but yes, if you're on the fence about Wish, you never know what you can find. I bought garter belts on Wish. Matter of fact, that's one of the things I'm waiting on. So let me put this where the cat can't knock it over. Let me show you what my pork fried rice looks like on my plate. I want to set this on here and hope that it's safe, not too wobbly. I do think I need some more soy sauce, and I think I need some more. No, actually, I put a good bit on the dish before I put the soy sauce in. Okay, well, this is my pork fried rice. I'm going to have to carefully eat this before my cats discover it. If you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you like me and my content and you haven't already, please do subscribe. If you do, hit that bell so it looks like it's ringing. And if you do that way, you won't miss anything I post. I post 3 times a week for your viewing pleasure. I would love to take you along with me on my adventures. I'd also like to show off my Rush Limbaugh shirt because I think he was absolutely badass. And I'm a big fan and I miss him. So, yeah, come to see me in a couple of days. I don't know what the content's going to be like, but it's going to be fun. And if you love America, you'll love me. So, thank you for watching. I hope you're hungry. I'm going to eat now. Talk to you soon. Bye.